As the Colorado Buffaloes get ready to play Arizona, there's a familiar face in town. I'm here to tell you, dog, Shedeur Sanders made his way back to Boulder. Now, many people have speculated that Shedeur might not return back to Boulder due to the simple fact that he was going to stay in Cleveland and possibly prepare to play.
That moment everyone saw coming, but no one wanted to believe has finally happened. Shedeur Sanders is back in Colorado, and that could be a big clue he's not starting for the Browns next week in that highly anticipated matchup against the Jets. But what does this move really mean? Did Shedeur just make the smartest decision of his career, or did he finally give up on Cleveland? And here's the real twist. Could Kevin Stefanski already be regretting letting him go? Let's find out.
Yes, now I'm here to tell you, we don't know 100% if Shedeur is going to play. As of right now, Dylan Gabriel is still the guy. And I told y'all, bro, I truly, cold-heartedly believe Deshaun Watson is going to be activated. But it is great just to see Shedeur back with his pops, back with Coach Prime, and back where it all pretty much got started for him, man. I should have went to this game.
Kevin Stefanski might be putting up a calm face in front of the cameras, but deep down, he knows he made the biggest mistake of the season, because honestly, letting Shedeur go back to Colorado was never part of the plan. This wasn't just another player walking out. This was the one guy who could have brought spark, confidence, and energy to the team when everything else was falling apart. Stefanski thought he could handle the offense without Shedeur and with his gimmick players. But guess what? The Browns haven't looked the same since. The fans know it, the players know it, and now even Stefanski knows it too. You could see it in his face during practice. And the games, especially that one which was lost against the Patriots. The tension, the second-guessing, the regret. He thought benching Shedeur would prove a point that he wasn't ready for the game. But all it proved was how weak the offense really is without him. And the worst part? The moment Shedeur packed his bags for Colorado, the internet exploded. And the whole narrative turned against Stefanski. Now tell me, was that really worth it, coach? Because here's the thing, Shedeur wasn't just another backup quarterback. He was the future, the one player who could have changed everything for Cleveland. His chemistry with the receivers was building up, his game awareness was getting sharper, and every practice clip that leaked showed a quarterback ready for the spotlight. But Stefanski chose to ignore all that and stick to his same old system that has collapsed without it could even started. And now look where it's gotten him. Criticism from fans, pressure from the media, and a locker room that doesn't even look motivated anymore. It's like the soul of the team walked out with Shedeur. And you can't help but wonder, does Stefanski lie awake at night thinking about that one decision? Because when your offense keeps failing drive after drive, you can't pretend anymore. You start to realize maybe, just maybe, the guy you benched was the one who could have saved your season. And the timing couldn't have been worse. Just when the Browns were supposed to make their comeback, Shedeur's return to Colorado flipped the story upside down. Colorado fans welcomed him like a hero, and that alone must have burned Stefanski a little. Imagine watching the guy you let go walk back to roaring cheers while your own stadium sits in silence after another failed play call. That's not just a bad look, it's a nightmare for any coach. And now the question is, what happens next? Does Stefanski try to fix this, or is it already too late? Because if Shedeur shines again in Colorado and the Browns keep losing, which they definitely will, the whole football world will say the same thing. They'll say Kevin Stefanski pushed away the one player who could have turned everything around. And let's be real, no coach wants to be remembered for that.
Why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
Okay.
If there was any sensible person in the higher-ups of the Browns, they would have already fired him. And by now, we would be talking about the positive things finally happening in Cleveland. But here we are. This clownery just never seems to end, by the way. The man was literally asked about Shedeur, the guy who brought hope to this collapsing offense. And what does Stefanski say? It's not my focus right now. Excuse me, coach, not your focus. Then what is? Losing more games, making worse play calls every week, handing the worst scripts to your gimmick players. It's like he's living in a world of denial where nothing is his fault, and every bad result is just part of the process. This man has the guts to dismiss the very name that fans are rooting for, the same player who had the city buzzing with excitement before he even got a proper chance. You can tell he's trying to act tough, like Shedeur's return doesn't bother him, but that's just pride talking. Deep down, he knows the damage is done. Because when you lose someone like Shedeur, you don't just lose a player, you lose the heart and energy of your locker room. And yet, here he is, pretending it's not his focus. What exactly is his focus then? Keeping his job for another week? Covering up his own mess? Because right now, everything about his tone screams insecurity and ego. And let's not act like this is some shocking new attitude from him. This is vintage Stefanski behavior. Always disappointing, always ignoring things off, always running away from accountability. You could literally feel the arrogance dripping from his words. He could have said something respectful, something simple like, "Shedeur's a talented player and I wish him well." But no, he had to play it cool, like he's above all that. And that's exactly why people are done with him. Fans aren't stupid, they see through the fakeness. They see a coach who's slowly losing control and trying hard to look unbothered, while everything around him is collapsing. How can a coach talk about focus when his own play calling is all over the place? How can you say Shedeur isn't your focus when the entire organization is falling apart because of your ego-driven decisions? If anything, Shedeur should have been your focus from day one. But now it's too late. Shedeur's gone, Colorado's happy, and Stefanski's standing there pretending nothing happened. Tell me, at this point, is this confidence or just pure delusion?
Concern myself with outside type of things. But I'm committed to his development, just like all of our rookies. So we'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. And that's what we'll stay committed to, and that's what's important to me.
And did you, I'm sure you kind of answered this last night, but why didn't you keep him in for the 2-minute, or why did you decide to take him out?
Yeah, nothing more than decided to give Snoop some work at the end of the game.
This man really sat there with a straight face, although with a very arrogant smirk at the end, and said his focus is nothing outside and that he's hopeful for Shedeur's development just like other rookies. What a joke! Because if that's what he calls development, then I'm honestly scared to see what he calls destruction. This man benched a quarterback who was showing potential, didn't give him reps, ignored his progress, created the unwanted controversy, and now he's out here acting like everything is part of some master plan. Like, who are you fooling, Stefanski? You barely developed the players you already had, and now you're out here talking about hoping for development. Like, is it a film shooting going on? You can't even develop your offense properly, let alone a rookie quarterback. Fans aren't buying it anymore. How can you talk about Shedeur's growth when you never gave him the chance to grow under you? What kind of logic is that? And what does he even mean by nothing outside? Because everything outside of his focus seems to be the only thing working for this team. Maybe if he started focusing on those outside things, like the players he keeps pushing away, the Browns wouldn't be this big of a mess right now. And let's not even start on that just like other rookies line. That right there tells you everything. This man really compared Shedeur to other rookies, as if we didn't all see what Shedeur was doing in practice. As if the clips, the stats, and the flashes of brilliance didn't mean anything. He's trying to downplay Shedeur's potential to make himself look right, but it's backfiring so badly, it's almost funny. Every time Stefanski opens his mouth now, he sounds more like someone trying to protect his ego instead of his team. Because if you were really hopeful about Shedeur, you would have given him the chance to prove himself, not thrown him on the bench and acted like he didn't exist. So what development are we even talking about here? The only thing developing right now is the list of people who want him fired. You don't treat a potential franchise quarterback like a side note, and then come out with fake calm statements like everything's fine. Be real, coach. If Shedeur was still here, this team would have looked different.
Walked up to you after taking his walk down to the pylon, and then he walked back up to you on the sidelines before Snoop went in, and he said something to you. You shook your head. I mean, was he trying to get back into it?
He's a competitive kid. The plan was to go with Snoop there, so but I wouldn't make any more of it than that.
And now let's not forget about this so-called brilliant decision to go with Gabriel. Because honestly, if there was ever a move that looked more like desperation instead of direction, this is it. Stefanski actually thought replacing Shedeur Sanders with Dillon Gabriel would somehow fix things? Be for real. If you think Dillon isn't bad, he's not that guy either. He's inconsistent, and his reads look like he's playing backyard football half the time. You can literally see the difference in composure. Shedeur stands tall and calculated, while Dillon panics the moment a defender comes near him. And Stefanski's sitting there acting like this was part of some long-term plan. Long-term plan for what? More 3-and-outs? More missed passes? Because that's all we've seen since Dillon stepped in. The offense lost control and honestly, the sense too. The receivers look frustrated and the fans are just tired. How do you go from a young quarterback with star potential to someone who can barely move the ball past midfield without throwing a risky pass? Like seriously, what's the vision here? Because it feels like Stefanski is making choices just to prove he's still in control, not because they make any sense for the team. And Dillon Gabriel, oh man, he's not helping his case either. Every time he takes the snap, you can feel the uncertainty. He's overthrowing open targets, underthrowing deep balls, and making decisions that make you question whether he's even reading the same playbook. You can't blame the receivers when half the passes are either landing in the dirt or sailing over their heads. And yet, Stefanski keeps doubling down like this is the guy who's going to save Cleveland. Save them from what, though? From scoring points? From moving the chains? Because that's exactly what it looks like right now. Dillon looks like a quarterback who's trying too hard to prove something he's not, and Stefanski looks like a coach who's too stubborn to admit he messed up. The irony is painful. He traded away talent, potential, and leadership for inconsistency, panic, and mediocrity. And now he's sitting there pretending everything's fine. It's not fine, coach. You picked an idiot over a future star. And for what? Just to protect your ego? Because that's the only thing this decision makes sense for. So tell me, how long before even the higher-ups realize that both this coach and his new pick are running this team straight into the ground? Anyways, now that Shedeur has officially moved back to Colorado, this decision might actually open new doors for him. Returning to Colorado means going back to where he's most comfortable. His system, his coaches, and most importantly, his father, Coach Prime, who knows exactly how to bring out his best. This could be the reset Shedeur needed after all the unnecessary drama and politics in Cleveland. In Colorado, he'll get the reps, the spotlight, and the freedom to play his game without being held back by someone else's ego. It's not just about comfort, it's about control, development, and confidence. And let's be honest, if he lights up the field again like he did before, it's only going to raise his value even more. So while Cleveland deals with regret and confusion, Shedeur might just be setting himself up for the smartest comeback of his career. With that, there's a lot that's going to happen, but one thing is certain. Stefanski has to admit he was wrong. He has to regret it, sooner or later. If you've been following this drama from the start, you know this moment was bound to come. So make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next big update. Now the question is, do you think Stefanski will ever publicly admit his mistake and regret letting Shedeur go? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.